Woo woo. Okay,
Mm.
so that lady with the spear that we met in the library, I thi we we freed the one of the we freed part of the goddess that we're supposed to be freeing. He told us that there's more of these puzzles that we need to do because she was split apart to make sure that she wasn't got. And so we're supposed to go do that. She sent us back to our home plane, presumably. And now, uh, and then the one with the spear, the guardian with the spear that we met, was like, "Hey, the king and queen of the Wolf Kingdom want me to go show you something in a secret spot, very super duper secret." And so we went to do that. It was very suspicious. There was a wall there that gave us visions of death and such. We got
It was the
inside
Wall of
and
Death at Hellfest.
yep, the we got inside into what we didn't see now was a bar. The bartender was like, "Yeah, you guys is here. You unlock this thing. It's a wish that controls the entire. It just It's very contrived and only works for the for changing the whole entire Wolf Kingdom and their trajectory and future and fate. Ooh, and you're not allowed to not wish for anything and to just reject the wish or to decide later. It has to be decided now." And the chaotic people wanted to mess up the Wolf
Mhm.
Kingdom, and Cash
No.
kept arguing to not do that because that would be bad. And then we went arguing, and we came up with a halfway solution. That's okay. We bring back the we use part we bring back this tree that helps protect against undead. We use only part of the Wolf Kingdom to have these trees alive. We asked and all that, and we were voting on it. We got the 4 out of 5 we needed, but apparently we still want to discuss it. So here we are. We decided on a plan. Now we're voting again. The other people want to turn the whole thing into a forest. Into a jungle. That's basically it.
Oops.
Allegedly. No, I feel people should know. I feel like we should tell them. I feel like we should tell them what happened and why. And I mean, like, the wish should let them know. I feel like it would be rude not to just, like, uproot some people's lives. Especially
Might
because,
I
like,
make
It would
one
character
more?
question.
Oh, go ahead.
Nothing. It wasn't in character.
Okay. Might I make one more appeal to undoing the last wish? Yes, that's to the party.
no.
The previous wishers decided upon themselves to not only change the economic forecast of this kingdom, but also the health and well being of its members, and they erased an entire culture. A culture that we now know nothing about. And on top of that, the biodiversity that was simply wiped off of the map. All of the plants, all of the animals, all of the things that we could learn, gone.
And
I
you
simply
think
think that we must
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, you finish. You were still talking.
I simply think that we must consider undoing that wish. I think that it has done more harm than good.
You will simply
This is
just be
not.
doing all that again.
We would be putting it back to its natural state.
No, you will be tampering with people's lives all over again. What about the culture that exists now? What about the ecology that exists now?
What ecology?
Everyone's lives will be upturned.
What ecology? The entire place has been turned into a metal wasteland.
It's not a wasteland. That's Cabo, right? Cabo, you've said all that, yet I am living proof that that is false. I've lived here all my life, yet you say life is not possible here. You're just incorrect. And yet life lives here. Yeah, no, and the rest of my family and everyone else I've lived in. Yes, the wolf kingdom, of course. Mostly wolves live here.
They're saying only the wolves live here. There's no wildlife.
There is more. Yes,
I have a question for our bartender over there. How does the Wolf Kingdom feed itself?
Organic slop.
I have a feeling that it's by importing all of their food. I see. That is not a sustainable practice. What happens if the Kitsune Kingdom goes through a drought or famine itself? What happens if there's a war between the two kingdoms? Your people would starve. If we reverted back to the way it was before, they could grow their own food.
If you will simply be playing with people's lives again. You can't. Two wrongs do not make a right.
We play with people's lives every day.
And we
That
should.
is what we do as adventurers. If you don't want to change the way the world works, what are you doing with us?
You
That
ch-
that is what
changing the
adventurers
entire
do.
trajectory and fate and entire existence of a kingdom based on a mythical wish given to you by deities that you're forced to make, even though it doesn't make any sense for you to be the one doing it. It's completely different than simply just going around and digging out in dungeons and doing the rest of every usual.
And what if we find out that it is a completely natural process that the material plane is going to smash into the negative energy plane? Should we just let that happen too?
You have to go with what it would be better. Doing that is a false dichotomy. It's false comparison. That would just destroy us all. It happened. It's not destroy. It's still here.
Ash, you heard the statistic earlier. Almost half the kingdom is suffering because of the way that things are.
They're not suffering. They just wish some wish that there was just a bit more nature around.
What
The
part of
plan,
43%
the
of
plan that we
What?
decided on earlier of just adding some more trees is fine. It's
Cash,
fine enough.
Cash, what
It
part
You're
of
doesn't.
still
40
playing with their lives, Cash.
We're being forced to play with their lives. Then we should
Cash?
pick the option that does the least harm.
Cash, what part of 43% of your population is experiencing adverse health effects from the smogulous environment that you live in do you not
Can
understand?
you, Sturgis, could you check again if that was a statistic or if we're confusing that
It
one
was
with a
about
different statistic?
43.
I just want to know that was the people who want more, or if that was.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
higher.
So
Whoops.
adding some trees is good enough.
Why is your bar doing the least harm instead of the most good?
That changing it to changing it to a forest is not the most good.
I thought you wanted to do good for your kingdom. Why do you want to settle with just good enough?
It's
Really?
not good enough. It's the least bad option. It's the least bad option. You shouldn't just decide that, oh no, you will be better off doing whatever I think. You should not just be the ones who to decide what is best for other people. I am the only one here that is able to speak for the Wolf Kingdom.
You're speaking for
The rest of
yourself.
the rest of you want to change it just for the sake of your whimsy.
This
The
is not
fuck
just
do
our
you
whimsy.
mean?
We are basing our opinions off of facts and figures that were provided.
No. You
Yes,
were
we fuck.
simply
No,
lying.
no, shut
You
up. Yes,
came
the fuck
in
we
here.
are.
You came in here already wanting this to happen. Kava already could not care for the Wolf Kingdom. You all already came in here with these notions.
Kava came in.
And it is not.
I'm done fucking arguing. I vote for full arboreal. That's my final verdict.
No.
Yes, I'm not arguing with you anymore about this. I'm not gonna let you sit by and watch your kingdom fall into ruin.
I do not let you just sit by and decide my kingdom's fate for me.
No, because you're deciding on a shitty fate.
You're deciding on doing things just for the sake of doing it. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. No.
Ash, all you're doing is saying no repeatedly. You're not actually providing any good evidence as to why you're
I
lazy.
did, and you all just choose to not listen.
Repeat it to me.
You know, you didn't.
I vote full arboreal. I'm done arguing about this.
I also vote for Arboreal. And I don't appreciate you just dismissing us as agents of chaos, as if that's all we care about.
That's all you've shown you care about.
I'm done talking to you because clearly you don't want to have a conversation. You just want to get mad.
No, you also clearly don't want to have a conversation. You all
Steve
just
turns
simply
away.
wanted to. You all simply just want to turn to trees because turning to trees. You just assume trees are good all the time. For the
Let me tell you a story, Cash. A story about the
no, I
history
don't
of the
care for
fight.
your stupid stories.
Fine. Fuck off then.
You fuck off.
Anyway, it appears we are at an impasse. The only one who has not said anything about the predicament is Zale.
Biggs, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, one moment. Zale thinks for a moment. He seems to he looks like he has a decent amount to say, but has been holding back for a while. But eventually he'll raise his voice and simply say, I vote for full arboreal.
You're not even from this world. Wait. Can I at least not be affected by this wish? I want to remember everything. The world as it used to be. I do not want to be changed at all. Yeah. I also do not want to have any changes from this wish affect at least my personal being. No, I don't want to grow anything. I don't want to be physically changed in any way.
Hold on. Getting message my brain's stupid. Audio's not coming through for Stargales. My partner is watching the stream and she's saying that it's not.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
Whoopsie doodle.
Her
Yeah, I'm so used to coming through on a different Discord that I forgot about that particular button. Okay. Hello, Miki. Alright.
Mickey, I'm sorry it took me so long to see your message.
Miki
Here,
said
have
hi
a
in the stream
heated
chat.
discussion.
Right? Fuck, it missed all of my side of things. Woo! Anyways, okay. So, for the stream, the bartender has received the 4 out of 5 votes, since Kava has also submitted for Arboreal above anything else. Yeah. So, suddenly, the tavern around you seems to begin to fade away. And in the next moment, you find yourselves standing once again in the Wolf Kingdom. Although, while the general layout of the Wolf Kingdom is roughly similar, and you can still see the symbology and all kinds of other things of the sort, as you currently stand in the industrial district, it's definitely now all forested, and many of the buildings are now made with wooden constructs, and even some of them having leaved roofs.
Seeing this, Zale will kind of let out a long sigh, but will otherwise say nothing.
Maria takes a deep breath of the air.
Kava will join Maria in that exact action. And then Kava says, kind of smells like the Fox Kingdom. Well, their forest at least.
Well, foxes do love their nature.
Cass just looks at everything around him. Everything he knew just basically being gone. Like, in effect.
Well, everything's changed,
And
but
he just looks around, see Nothing looks as he remembers it. Looks at the ground. Sees that everyone else is just like fucking chill. Just looks as if nothing fucking happened. Looks back around, just to the vicinity, and he starts crying. Just uses sleeve to wipe his eyes, and he just leaves.
Before Cash gets far, though.
No, he leaves.
No. Before Cash gets very far, though, a messenger bumps into him, who seemed to have been heading in that general direction. They swiftly apologize, look Cash up and down, and say, "Oh, you're one of the ones who's requested to, for a royal banquet."
Mm-hmm.
Maria steps up.
And he keeps walking by.
Well, the banquet will be tonight. If you'd like to stop by the royal palace, your company would be greatly appreciated by the king.
He just keeps going. He doesn't listen.
Don't mind him. It's a rough day.
Well, there was Maria following after Cash.
Yes.
Okay. The messenger looks over at Cash, who's just walking off. Looks over to Maria, and then says, "Should I ask what happened?"
It's a long story. Best if you don't.
Well, fair enough. I mean, there's going to be some pretty notable figures at the banquet, but the king has invited, well, him and the whole lot of you to a feast to celebrate your victory against the Yellow King and bringing back everyone from Carcosa. Of course, notably, many nobles were involved, which is certainly a large plus as to your accomplishments in this case.
Well, we thank you very much, and we will be sure to attend.
The messenger will then offer a bow before heading back off into a different direction. Well, at least after delivering all of that news to the rest of the party, if they've caught up with Maria by now.
Maria does a curtsy.
And also I should also mention that the royal messenger has left you with 5 invitations, each with your respective names stamped on it.
Maria hands the invitations out. It's best that we give some Cash some time to process. His entire life was turned upside down.
It was, but I don't expect him to come back, in all honesty.
His life was just turned upside down. He abhors everything, especially us, but... while time doesn't get rid of all scars, it certainly heals all wounds. We will leave him be for now.
Certainly. Kava says, thinking for a moment. Now then, I was stuck in a book for a while, but, well, I don't remember a whole lot about myself. What I do know is I was definitely around here before that point. And, and so part of the reason I wanted to push for these kinds of things, or hell, even the rainforest, is because that makes it a lot easier to push this world a bit closer to the Feywilds, which would help with the whole negative energy plane situation.
Hmm. Maria seems to think for a moment.
It's not a
Well,
solution in and of itself, but it certainly opens up an avenue.
I'm still not convinced that pushing us towards the Feywild is necessarily the best option. Certainly better than being annihilated in the negative energy plane, but
You kind of have to think of it as a balance thing right now. It's shifted too far towards the negative. The Feywilds are the positive, so you need to push it back in that direction one way or another.
mhm. Hopefully we can find a happy balance in the middle somewhere.
Oh,
The Feywilds are an interesting place, but I don't think I'd want to live there.
Oh, I would totally live there. Have you seen the jungles that exist there?
I don't think it's the environment that's the problem. I think it's the denizens.
Oh well, when you're used to rainforests and jungles where like everything is venomous and can absolutely kill you if it looks at you the wrong way, Feywilds aren't that much of a difference.
Hmm. Either way, I think I need a new dress for this party.
Well, Cabo will just look around for a moment and say, "Well, considering industry seems to still be booming, I suppose we could go find a tailor."
Indeed. I guess they go off looking for a market with a tailor in it.
Uh, well, obviously in this day and age, I don't think there's really like. Actually, I haven't asked. Which kingdoms have
I'm sure there's
supermarkets?
still markets. Well, maybe
Oh
not
yeah, there's.
supermarkets, there's definitely still markets.
Oh yeah, well, so oh, open air markets don't tend to have tailors. They have shoe shiners. But anyways.
Uh,
I'm sure there's a tailor shop around somewhere.
shopping center, a mall, a business district.
Let me double check with them real quick.
I'll be right back. I
Okay.
hear someone on my porch.
I'm gonna take a moment because I need to do my laundry.
Okay, just waiting for Guardian to get back.
I'm back.
Welcome back. All right. Kava will say, well, we could look around the market. There could also just be tailors throughout the kingdom. So perhaps the first thing we should do is look for someone well dressed and ask where they got their attire from.
Maria looks around for someone wearing a pretty dress. Perception check?
Yeah. You know, solid 15 there. I think that's good enough. Maria does, in fact, after a bit, spots a female wolf in quite fine attire.
Maria walks up. I simply adore your dress. Where did you get it from? Diplomacy check?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. You started with flattery, so I'll also give you that little bit of a bonus, but I think that did well. Okay. Yeah. The wolf will just giggle and say, well, personally, I went to one of the higher ends of the shopping district. If you have, seeing as you must be new to the area, why not look over that way? She says, pointing in a particular direction. That should lead you to roughly where I went shopping recently.
Maria does a curtsy. Why, thank you. I need something to go to the royal ball with, and these travel clothes just aren't it.
Oh, a royal ball. Well, aren't you the guest of honor here?
Indeed. Thank you very much. Maria curtsies again and then heads off in the direction that she was pointed in.
Which Kava will follow.
Seeker follows along, but trying to do so subtly, slipping between legs. Seeker is like half of everybody's height, pretty much.
Sika, if you want, you can ride on my shoulders. Keep you from darting between everybody.
Speaker between dodge and getting stepped on. That would be appreciated.
Izali will just kind of like reach down to pick up Seeker, but like not before he does it, but like in a way that he's still waiting for like Seeker to kind of like jump into his arms or give consent.
Seeker bounces up and kind of awkwardly scrambles onto your arms.
Thank you.
Let me know if you get uncomfortable. You can shift around.
No, this is a lot more comfortable. I'd really rather not get stepped on. Everything's bigger than me.
Sorry. Alright, so, as they walk through the new arboreal wolf kingdom, certainly not quite a lush rainforest, but certainly still one with trees that, some of which scaled up hundreds of feet, but most of which tend to stay closer to the 50 to 100 foot height range, with plenty of smaller ones dotting in between. They finally, on exiting the more industrial area, start to see a new trend in the architecture. As as in the distance they initially spot buildings made of lumber on wooden platforms attached to the trees with rope bridges connecting between them. And these buildings seem to exist at multiple different layers, which incidentally has allowed for fitting a bit more into the shopping district as they arrive than there was before. Seems that it is actually quite possible that new businesses have opened up as a result of the change. Granted, for any of the party members that aren't from the Wolf Kingdom, they wouldn't necessarily know that offhand. The only reason they could make such a guess is just from how efficient the space use seems to be now.
Interesting architecture.
Compared to how it was before, it's so much more beautiful now. Makes me think of what would happen if we performed this sort of wish back home.
What was
That's
it like
right,
back
Seeker.
home?
Well, something similar happened there as well. I don't even know what to call them. The overarching sentient species? They were also about twice my height. I don't really know what they were called, but they hit an industrial age and, well, built upwards. They built giant structures, and those structures were essentially giant supercomputers, but the only way to cool those down enough to be usable was to use rain. And the rain that came out of those structures absolutely destroyed all of the life around it.
Ah,
How terrible. I'm sorry for that, Seeker.
I wouldn't have even known if one of the my brain went stupid. I wouldn't even know it if my creator hadn't told me about it. She's one of the the structures are supercomputers, but they're also people, like robots, I guess? Giant robots. The personhood maybe it is one of those.
fascinating.
Interesting.
So they had to start creating their own life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that would explain your unique biology compared to all the other creatures I've met in this world.
That's why I didn't usually talk about where it came from, because as far as I'm aware, there's not really anybody else like me.
Besides, apparently, the one that we met at the theater.
We met a Slugcat at the theater?
Not a Slugcat, but someone from the same world.
Oh, yeah.
We did meet a scavenger at the theater, but there are a few creatures that manage to make a life in the rains, and scavengers are one of them. As are lizards and vultures.
Well, that would explain your propensity to dislike vultures.
It's kill or be killed out there. You don't know if something is gonna attack you, so it's better to assume that they will. Otherwise,
Seeker does a slitting motion across their throat.
Hmm.
Enough dull stuff, though. We got a party to prepare for.
Indeed. Perhaps we can find a nice suit for you as well, Seeker.
You know, I've literally never worn formal wear my entire life. I don't know what I would wear.
Well,
Time to find out.
perhaps perhaps whatever tailor we find might have ideas. They usually do.
Perception check to find a tailor.
That would actually just be a general survival roll. So, who would like to lead the survival roll?
What even is my survival?
I think I might have the highest survival of everyone.
There's a quick way to check.
And by the way, while we're checking that, during Seeker's talk about like the big structures that they came from, he'll kind of look at the similarly monolithic and giant trees around him, and he'll almost look like he wants to say something, but he'll hold back after not Palo. after Seeker mentions that they'd rather focus on the party.
I will mention that the trees, while the overall architecture seems to follow a general trend, the trees themselves are not all literally the same species of tree. There's also a tree that dotted among them is a species of tree that the party has never seen before, but probably matches with a certain tree that the bartender had been talking about.
Ooh. Seeker looks across at the monstrously tall trees.
As big as these trees are, they still don't measure up to those structures. I don't even have words for how big they were.
Well, 26 is a good roll. But I did check, and actually, apparently, me, Seeker, and me and Seeker are the ones with the highest survival rolls, and the other two that technically have higher survival rolls are not current party members.
We can definitely go with 26.
You're like a ranger or something, aren't you?
No, Kava does have a bow, but is actually a runesmith alchemist. But runesmith has a way to interact pretty nicely, or in a fun way with bows, so that was part of the consideration.
Either way, Maria looks around and then points to a building that says something like fine tailored goods or something.
I've already had to recently do way too many coming up with shop names. Let's grab the AI and no, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. Let me find a fucking shop. What's the Radiant Raiments? That's the name of the tailor's shop in Skyrim. You want to steal?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go with it.
I wasn't asking you to come up with a shop name.
I know. I didn't think you were. I was entirely fucking around because I had to come up with a name for Foska's Tavern. Anyways, yes, so you do find the tailor. There are quite exquisite outfits on display in front. Although, there's one slight challenge to all of this. This particular shop is about 20 feet up.
And I'm assuming there's no stairs.
Climb.
There is a ladder.
Climb.
What was
Up
that?
the ladder.
Oh, there's a ladder.
Yeah, there's a ladder. There's also an accessibility attachment near the ladder.
Seeker scoots up the ladder.
So you can either ride the elevator or climb the ladder.
I think Maria is able-bodied enough to climb a ladder despite being untrained in athletics.
I mean, it's a ladder.
Would it be athletics or acrobatics?
It's athletics to climb. And
Right.
I mean, personally, I'm going to waive the climbing check here, but
Because it's a ladder.
ladders can be unstable, but this is also the Wolf Kingdom, and they are very good at their architecture.
I'm sure this particular ladder help.
I
Ladder
I
is
mean, if
quite
I was
sticky.
trying to like climb the ladder in combat, I would assume that like I would need to make an athletics check there, but I'm under no duress. I can climb as slow as I need to make it up.
Correct.
Seeker scoots up the ladder like it's nothing.
I had to climb rusty poles back home. This is nothing.
You know, I've climbed a lot of poles in my day, but none of them were rusty.
I'm sorry, I automatically translate everything as a sex joke. When
It was. It was.
Okay.
That was
I wasn't off
definitely
the
a
mark.
sex joke.
Kava will just say, well, then it sounds like you need to meet more cyborgs who are a bit under the weather.
You know, there are certain places that Rust just should not go.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to fucking think about that. Ew. Get out of here.
And
Anyway.
does Zali take the ladder or the elevator?
He'll take the ladder.
Okay. Kava will. Well, Kava obviously takes the ladder. Actually, no. Kava just climbs. Straight up climbs the fucking tree. But I'll roll that.
Natural one falls off.
Right. Look, I have a hero point, which I will use. Okay. Kava gets a little bit up the tree and starts sliding, and quickly moves over to the ladder to finish their climb.
Whoopsie.
It's not so low that they just, went for a complete tumble, but enough that they started sliding off.
It's like the first time you try to climb a tree and like you realize that it's not as easy as it looks.
Right? And
God, I
Kava,
wish there was some good climbing trees.
as Kava gets his hop, they'll just grumble, there needs to be more vines here.
It's okay. No one saw that.
Except for us.
So, as the party goes inside, there's quite the assortment of outfits throughout the store, various kinds of price tags, and of course, a clerk at the front desk.
Before going inside, Seeker's gonna stop at the door, consider themselves for a moment, and then actually take their skull off.
Maria walks up to the clerk. Hello.
The clerk offers a polite bow and says, welcome. Can I help you find anything?
Ah, yes, I've been invited to the royal ball tonight, and I'd like to know what is fashionable in this area for that type of party.
Oh goodness.
Also, that is adorable, Paolo.
Right?
Thanks.
Give me one moment.
I feel like I shouldn't walk in here wearing a fucking skull. You know what I mean?
Maria looks over. I don't think I've ever seen you take that mask off.
I normally don't. You never know when a lizard is gonna sneak up on you. But I don't think there's any lizards here.
No. Just large, hairy people.
I can deal with those.
Okay, double checking this particular question.
Oh, I figured you would just come up with some bullshit. I was not expecting.
Well, since you're there's a lot that I can bullshit, but you asked specifically what the wolf royalty is into. Anyways.
just making her bother the poor Florins over and over again.
But
Damn, I can't find a gif of that one character from Series of Unfortunate Events.
I'd
Which
never
one?
seen it.
The one who's really obsessed with what's in and what's out.
Um,
Oh,
Maria
okay.
could
Chroma found
definitely-
Chroma found one. We're good. We're good. What's up?
Maria could definitely pull off that tentacle dress.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
All right. So the clerk will respond. Well, well, I know this isn't quite what you'd expect as formal wear from most places if you're really looking to liven the place up. You would want to get a rainbow poncho covered with a variety of colors of feathers and snakeskin headbands. Perhaps some feather bracelets with turquoise gems in them would certainly complement the look.
Okay, I am going to have to make a perception check.
Yeah. Same.
Uh,
Whoops, fuck, I did it wrong.
Both of you, as far as you can tell, believe she is completely honest with you.
hmm. You know, I am quite flamboyant, but I don't know if I can pull that off.
Um, and behind Maria, you can hear Kava hyperventilating suddenly.
Maria turns around.
Are you okay?
I think we may have found the dress for Kava.
Kava then takes a moment to recenter and says, "Please." The clerk seems to laugh a bit at Kava and says, "We'll have a seamstress get you measured. And what about the rest of you?"
You wouldn't happen to have a dress that screams forest witch, would you?
Depends on which kingdom you're looking. I suppose you mean a wolf forest witch, perhaps?
Yes, if you happen to have one. If not, Fox Kingdom will work for me. It is my homeland.
Well, I suppose. She will then direct Maria, or come around the counter and direct Maria over to one section of clothing, which seems to have things that are more robe-like in general. Although, there does still seem to be a general vibe of these robes being a bit more colorful than one might expect.
Interesting. Maria rifles through the dresses, picking one out that would go with the corset she already owns.
Oh, I was just linked this as an example for what the fashion would look like that the clerk was talking. At least as far as the poncho goes.
I was expecting something much more gaudy. So they're going for like tribal, like America's vibe. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maria could do that.
So do you want to continue looking at the robes area? Or do you want to go for that?
Hmm. Maria will go for that.
All right. And it seems we've possibly lost Paolo, because Paolo's on full mute right now.
Maria puts the poncho on and then snaps her fingers, going through different sets of hats until she finds one, a witch's hat that works with the poncho.
Um, yeah, so you'd probably find a witch hat that, you know, I'm gonna have to see if there's any images of something that looks like a tribal witch hat. Let's see. No, okay, Chroma's going for the generation.
It's short, a smaller brim with like turquoise band and various bird feathers sticking out of it, and rainbow gemmed veil. Just really going for it.
Fair enough. All right. So, while Maria is taking care of that, in the background, Kava is pulled off into a back room by one of the tailors. They'll probably be there for a hot minute.
Hello, sorry, I had to vanish for a minute.
I noticed. All right. Paolo, Kava and Maria are accounted for fashion-wise. And I also sent a picture of what the ponchos would look like, roughly.
I like the poncho.
So the question is, would Seeker go for that or go for something else?
Seeker would definitely be down with the poncho.
All right.
The headband is a little, though, because Seeker's not used to showing their face.
I could definitely see Seeker wearing the poncho with like a wide brimmed like Mexican cowboy hat.
Right? Although,
going for the gunman with no name look.
now,
Thanks, Kev. I'll blend right in.
now here's the question: would Seeker know about masquerade masks?
I was about to say.
Because given that she mentioned snakeskin, perhaps you could, or Seeker could look for a snake mask that fits the bill.
Seeker thinks that a snake mask along with the feather poncho would look a little strange, so Seeker's looking more for like a feathered serpent sort of look. Oh my god, the cow.
Ah, like coatl. Okay,
Like
I was just told anaconda, but coatl is also fun. God, so Maria should dress like that at some point.
Bird to snake would be a little strange.
Up to you, I suppose. I mean, you
Feathered
could.
serpent mask.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Coatl.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. If that is permissible.
It is.
I love how ridiculous the Metal Gear series is.
Oh my
Did that
fucking
really
god!
fucking happen? There's so much insane shit going on in Metal Gear.
This was the look I was going for.
Riding sombrero.
All right, Maria switching from witch hat to 50-gallon hat win.
Honestly, if y'all ever let me drop witch as a class, I could do something like that.
Fair enough. Oh, Chrome is posting stuff in the group chat for Paolo.
Feather cloak.
But no, I was posting that more for Seeker of like
The cowboy outfit. Maybe if we go to a hot place, Seeker will don that.
If you go with a cowboy hat and your vulture mask, there's unfortunately one thing I think of, and it's terrible.
What?
If I can find it, 1 second.
I put too much spice in my beans.
Okay. I know I'm spelling the name right. Give me a second. I guess I'll have to look somewhere else.
Terrifying.
That.
But Maria could definitely go alchemist, gunslinger, and just rock that look.
Oh my god.
Seeker would look like that with a top hat. With a
Yeah.
sombrero.
It wouldn't look much different with the sombrero, just saying.
Now that's just making me think of a cowboy plague doctor.
Well, yeah.
Sick as hell.
Unfortunately, this particular character is like the worst person imaginable, so that's why it was.
Ew.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was a character. I was just like, heh, plague doctor.
Oh yeah, this is Giovanni from Fire Force. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No.
Spider-Man cowboy.
Okay.
So off track.
Right? Well, look, we've got an outfit for Seeker. We've got a coatl mask and a poncho. Which after Maria has chosen her clothing, the clerk will go to Seeker to help him with his.
Excuse me. When the outfit is figured out, Seeker stands before you, a very rainbowy serpent-looking creature.
Excellent. And what does Zali go for? If anything.
In the background,
second.
The background Seeker's having way too much fun shaking the feathers about. Fancy. Big has sent a message in general.
That's what he would go for if it were available.
The blue captain's robe.
Yes.
I dig it.
With the hat. Don't forget the hat.
And the
The
gold
hat is
hat.
included,
Yes.
but not the wig.
I mean, he's already like got curly hair.
He's already fluffy.
He's already got so much hair.
Fluffy.
A Seeker would note that it is as fluffy as it looks
I don't
when they
think
were
Seeker...
when they were climbing up Zale.
Yeah, I don't think Seeker ever explicitly got off Zale, so I think Seeker just jumped straight
Well-
from Zale to the ladder.
I believe that, yes.
Okay, so
On
so with
that.
the outfit you pointed out there, do you want it in any different colors than that, or just that color?
I think he would go for, like, maybe, like, a navy drab for, like, the vest. But that would be, like, the only difference.
Okay.
Very
Alright.
distinguished.
So with that, Zali is pulled into the back room for fitting. As Kava finally comes out from the back room, now completely covered in the entire outfit the clerk described, and seeming to just be absolutely beaming.
Looking very colorful, Kava.
They just say, "This is literally the best outfit I have ever owned. I'm never wearing a different outfit again. I'm just going to keep cleaning this one."
Very well.
Whatever floats your boat.
See, out of character now. I have to get out of this, right? I mean, I've
Of
got the ref
course.
sheet. All right, and then it takes about an hour or so for Zali to get fitted, and before being presented with a new outfit. All right, so the clerk will offer everyone their total costs. For Zali's outfit, it'll come out to 50 gold. What's up?
No, sorry, I accidentally made a noise with my mouth.
Oh, okay. Just one.
There's nothing.
Sometimes that preludes a sentence. I just want to be sure. For Seeker's outfit, it will end up coming out to about 100 gold. For Maria's outfit as well, it comes out to 100, and for Kava's, it comes out to 175.
Maria
Working
gladly
over the
tosses down
gold.
100 coins. 100 gold coins.
I will note, you'll kind of see, assuming everybody's kind of like waiting for him, you'll see Zale kind of leave the dressing room, kind of messing with the cuffs a bit before turning to everybody and saying, "I hope I look presentable as much as I can."
Certainly
Looking
presentable.
sharp.
You look like you're in a navy dress uniform. I'm sure you'll fit right.
Generally, I prefer something more practical, but today's a day for extravagance, I suppose.
I think it looks good on you.
Well, mission successful, he says before going over to the counter to pay his share. I have already subtracted the gold from my character sheet.
Same here.
Yep, I need to get my own. And then the clerk will say, all of your outfits will also come with a full 1-year warranty, which is also provided with these wands. And she will pass a wand to each person. And she'll explain, these are wands of mending, but these are a bit more potent than normal, but only when used on those outfits. Otherwise, it will operate as normal for that spell. But for those outfits for the next year, it will be able to mend them far beyond what the spell can normally do.
Zali will kind of turn his wand over a few times, inspecting it briefly before putting it in his pack. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, and I am certainly glad to have had your business today. Enjoy your royal ball.
Sorry, I was dealing with the spammer bot.
Just beat it really hard over the head, and anyways.
Boink.
No, I don't get to use the banhammer very often, but
Ah. Alright, so, does the party head to the palace?
Yep. Wait a minute. Are we gonna
Zali
look for
would.
cash?
That's what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Zali would make a point to say, one of us should check in on Cash, make sure they're doing okay. It's been a while. I still don't think he wants to talk to any of us, but
I especially don't think he wants to talk to me. Or Kava.
Definitely.
No offense.
I'm not gonna make us draw straws. If you want, I will handle this.
I think out of the lot of us, you are probably the most welcome.
If you don't mind, Zolly, I really don't think I agree. I think he would be the least upset with you.
No, don't worry. I do not hold this against you.
Thank you.
And quite bluntly, I don't hold it against him either, but
No, I understand why he's upset. I just think we made the best decision based on the facts we had.
I understand why too. I just I mean, I guess I know why, I just don't really understand. I grew up in a place that was shitty and made of metal and rust and rot. I would want to see it change more than anything.
Well, unlike you, he actually had a life and family and friends here, I believe.
Well,
And
technically those all still exist.
yes,
Hell,
but they're not the same.
I had my creator. Shut up.
What?
Maria just said Seeker didn't have a
Oh.
I had a life back home. I had my creator, and anyway,
I think Maria just caused Seeker to have an existential crisis.
Right?
anyway, we got shit to do.
personally, I resent gods who think themselves the arbiters of our fate. And though I'd make the choice again, I regret having assumed that position but for a brief moment.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Well, before anything else happens, shall I meet you at the ballroom?
Indeed.
Suppose so. And I suppose best of luck finding him. It's not like I'm not going to assume that you know exactly where he went, but perhaps you have a way to locate him. And make sure you take his invitation to him at the very least.
I have time and little else, but I'll make it work.
One
I am here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Zali would go to look for Cash. I assume I'd have to roll some kind of survival check.
I want to know how you look for him, and like how you try to contact him. That's just my thought.
I think he would mostly like try and retrace his steps, like back into the forest before they came across the market.
Yeah, so you'd want to start with a survival roll there, and once you get to the location where, and if you're able to find where your way back to that spot, you could try to track Cash's footprints.
Okay, so I'll roll survival first.
All right. It takes you about an hour, but you do manage to find your way back to the part of the industrial district where you had first come back.
Okay, at this point, he'll start looking around for footprints, and he'll also be yelling out Cash's name. Cash!
Okay.
I know you may be still upset with us, but I just need to make sure you're doing all right.
He just finds Cash in an alleyway with half a bottle of tequila.
Oh my god.
You
Right.
just yell out cash, but all the people you walk by just think you're just asking them for money.
Gods. Okay, so first and foremost, you can roll survival to look for prints. There is, of course, one particular distinction, but you'll have to roll high enough.
Sorry, one moment. I was just checking to see if I finally had a useful spell for once, but nope. Just going with survival rolls.
Okay. You do have a hero point.
I do.
Up to you.
And I'm going to use it. It's a 50-50 on whether or not I roll worse. And, well...
Yeah, well, also, for using hero points, it's keep higher, so you're fine.
Oh. Yay.
Thank goodness for that.
Okay. Let me think real quick.
While he's doing that, I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back.
Alright, after a bit of looking around, Zolly does in fact manage to locate Cash's footprints. In particular, what allows this distinction to be made is the smaller claws compared to the other prints.
And also the fact that they're bigger feet than everyone else.
Yeah, they're a size larger and by ratio smaller claws. So Zolly is able to identify them and can follow them.
Eventually when he finds Cash, I guess, assuming he does. I don't know if that's what you're going to get into next.
Well, out back.
Well, in part, there would be the question of where Cash went.
Where Cash goes is he stops in an alleyway to oppose himself further. After he just gets out, just keeps going and going. And eventually, after he feels like he's well enough lost the group, he goes to an alleyway, opposes himself, and then comes around. We still have phones, right?
Yes.
He checks it for GPS and things like where he is. Checks for bus routes and see like what transportation does this place even have anymore.
Sure. So transportation-wise, while there are a few differences in what the transportation looks like, it functions basically the same as before. And most of the overall streets are basically the same at present.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as
How
Cash,
far are we from where Cash would live in the Wolf Kingdom?
what's that?
How far are we from where Cash lives in the Wolf Kingdom?
Let me double.
I'm back.
Apparently only about 10. Apparently Cash's home is about 10 minutes away from the industrial district.
Cash catches a bus. Or the whatever
That's on foot, by the way.
whatever nearby. Cash catches the bus anyway. He just
Okay,
feel
okay,
like walking to it.
okay. So yeah, so did you just end up going to your home?
He goes home.
Okay. So one thing that Cash will notice on arriving home is that while the neighborhood certainly has taken on new appearances, his own home is actually basically the same.
Like the exact same.
Yeah.
Okay. So ours is still on the ground while theirs are in the air. Or like in the trees.
So there are some areas where the homes are up in the trees, some where they're down on the ground. Cash's neighborhood, a lot of them are still on the ground, but but some of them have like different building materials and slightly different layouts in some cases. And of course, there's things like gardens, trees growing all over the place. So pretty much only Cash's home hasn't seen any particular alterations.
He
He's
goes
the one house
inside.
with the metal front yard.
Well, I'm assuming the front yard would probably be like stone and brick instead of metal, but yeah.
The
What was that?
stuff in it. Has any of the stuff now made of wood instead of
Nope.
might be chain?
All of his possessions are exactly the same. Although if he has a weapon collection, one of them will have changed to become one of the new zombie slaying weapons. But I don't know what you have.
At home?
Yeah. I don't know what your character collects.
Is my porn stash still there?
Oh God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, pretty much everything inside the home is exactly as he remembers it.
Am I lagging?
That came through.
Okay. So I asked, is his family home?
Let's see. It's
A
getting
chain.
I guess it depends on their work schedule. Because right now it's getting towards evening. Or no, actually, when Cash first arrived, it would still be midday. So fair enough. So I don't know if Cash's family works during the day.
Yep. Probably at his home.
Okay. So yeah, if his family is home,
It's someone else.
what's that?
He's gonna go visit his aunt because her aunt's like unemployed. Just
Okay.
that hippie.
Okay. So, what I will say...
She changed.
What's that?
And she changed to be like the other arboreal.
Yes. But it is worth noting that for the most part she looks she is very recognizable as Cash's aunt. She just has a few minor changes here and there.
Like,
You're breaking up real bad for me, Cash. Or Lycan.
I'll come back in a...
Okay.
Okay.
Is this better?
So far. Well, I guess we'll let you know if it starts breaking up again.
So Cash goes to see his aunt.
I do not have the personality data for his aunt.
Alright, let me change the data. Change the fucking data. Okay.
Welcome
I
home,
changed the data.
dearie.
Right?
Now,
So
can y'all understand me?
yeah. So
Alright. I
I
got the details will be. More or less what Cash does is he says hello and he looks obviously distraught and he just tells he brings up like, hey, I'm back from my adventure. Remember that thing you told me that might be good for me to do because of she had some vision of that maybe that Cash should go there or like some omen, and he more or less just tells her everything that happened, and that's what he does all afternoon.
okay.
And sad and lamenting about how his entire world has changed. He knew it's more or less gone.
Okay. So obviously, as far as the ant goes, the one thing is, there is kind of a retroactive change to her experiences. So her life was now in the arboreal wolf kingdom, and despite that, most events have generally gone as Cash remembers, and so so if there's anything that Cash brings up, like things that happened at work, omens or anything like that, she would seem to agree that those things have occurred. The only area that any disagreement seems to happen is any. Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry, I was being given some clarification. Apparently, Cash's aunt actually does look exactly the same.
Okay. So he doesn't look at all like not at all like the arboreal wolf.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So memory of basically events that have happened are exactly the same. And line up with anything that Cash has talked about. And the only thing that the aunt seems to be confused about is any insistence about this metal version of the Wolf Kingdom. But of course, if prompted, she will mention that the metalworking industry is doing just fine.
He's at
And
least glad that at least most of part of him, his not wanting to be affected part, has come through. I don't remember what the fuck what her name was because I'm forgetting it because
This is why I never gave my husband and child and my backstory names.
Okay, so then there's one other bit that Cash's aunt will mention to him, which is that Cash's boss had come by earlier looking for him. And when she had said that she didn't know where Cash was at the moment, he conferred to her that he would be going to the royal banquet that night. And that information is passed on to Cash during the conversations.
Cash. Cash expresses that he does not want to go. He's not going to go. And he just he tries to bring it back to everything that happened and what he was saying earlier. And he says, Auntie, I remember when we were talking about philosophy and life, death, and I asked the question of, is reincarnation really, really good, as you said it was? We argued about it, we discussed it, and how I said that is it even really the same? Is it even really good? Because the people just come back as a new person?
Okay, so I don't have her knowledge on that. But well,
I'm just sort of saying what Cash
okay,
says.
okay.
I think this feels like the exact same thing.
And I will mention as far as Zali's thing goes, when Zali will successfully track the footprints to the bus stop, but at that point is unable to see the prints going anywhere else and loses the trail.
Okay. Trying to think. I'm also trying not to metagame with what I do next.
Yeah, I'm not actually personally sure where how to take that next if you don't have a means of using locate person.
Well,
You can hop on the bus and take it like a few stops down and see where it goes. That would be what I would do, but I'm not there, so.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know what Zali would be looking for. Because, I mean, obviously my mind goes to, oh, just look for the one house that looks unchanged, but obviously Zali wouldn't know that his whole like family was left unchanged and not just him. So
Yeah, and also apparently Cash went to his aunt's house, not after
not
check.
his house. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like he swung by his house, saw that everything was still the same, and then went to visit his aunt apparently. So, yeah. So right now, Zali has no way to continue tracking unless you have locate person.
Well,
And-
unfortunately, I didn't pick any useful spells, so very sorry about that. I don't even know if locate person is a spell I could have taken as a divine caster, but
I don't even know if it is a spell at Pathfinder.
I don't remember if it's spell or ritual.
It's an uncommon spell, locate. It is on the divine edition, yes.
Okay, well now
It's level 3.
I could have taken it, but I didn't.
Exactly.
I guess Zale will wait for the next bus, and then after like everybody else embarks and disembarks it, he'll ask the driver if they've seen like he'll give like Cash's description if they've seen like a wolf like that.
Unfortunately, since there are several buses that go to this stop, this driver is a different driver than the one that grabbed Cash, so they have not seen him around.
I see. Very well. Take me along the route and I'll take my first stop. He'll basically like ride the bus until like the next stop and get out and see if basically he'll see what he sees at the next stop if it seems like anything worth investigating.
I will say, given the relatively short walk from where you guys were to Cash's house, it would definitely be at the first stop. There are indeed more of those footprints.
Noticing them, Cash will then thank the bus driver and disembark. And attempt to follow them.
Sorry, it's just that you said Cash will thank the bus driver, and I just thought that was funny.
Well, presumably they'd give Cash to the bus driver, but I can't give a person to a bus driver. That's illegal.
And did Cash walk all the way to his aunt's house, or no?
I guess that would depend on how far away it is.
Let's see. Apparently about another 10 minutes or so of walking.
I guess it would be of the wind decision to then go check. So yes.
Okay. Zali is able to follow the prints from the bus stop to Cash's house, which also makes it the first time that Zali has seen Cash's house. Congratulations. And then notices the footprints walking back away and and past the house in a different direction. Do you check inside the house, or do you follow the ones leaving?
He'll probably give like a knock on the door, see if anybody's home.
Well, actually, there is no answer at the door.
In that case, he'll start following the footprints again, off to where they lead to next.
Okay. So after another 10 minutes of following the tracks, well, actually more about 20, because you want to make sure that you're staying on top of them, you arrive at another house where they go up to the front door and don't seem to lead away.
He will then also approach this house and knock on the door 3 times.
Now, the aunt would probably answer it automatically. The question is, does Cash come along?
No, not immediately.
Okay.
Unless he's called over.
Okay, so the aunt would go to the door. And, tell Cash, just a minute, someone seems to be at the door.
Assuming the aunt opens the doors, Ollie would ask them, "Excuse me, do you know a friend of mine? His name is Cash. We adventured together."
The aunt would make a bit of a surprised exclamation, something like, and would say, so you're one of the ones that he's been adventuring with. I'm his aunt.
Tell me, is he doing okay?
He seems quite distraught.
Of course, he's had a long day today, and we went our separate ways. I assume he needed some space, but I just wanted to check up on him.
Well, I suppose I can pass your name along.
Of course, just as long as I know they're doing safe. And also, before I forget, he'll pull out Cash's invitation to the ball. I understand you might not want to go, but it'd be wrong of me to not leave this with him.
Oh, so he was invited to that as well. Well, I can try to at least push him that way. His boss did want to see him. And what is your name?
My name is Ali, and if I may leave one message with him,
Sure.
just let him know he's a hero. He's done a lot of good.
She'll nod. Before sending Zali off and heading back to confer all of that information to Cash and also offering the invitation over. And probably, and if Cash initially turns down the invitation, she will probably ask, are you sure you really want to turn down the royal seal or something like that?
I don't want anything left to do with this. Whatever else has happened today. And he tears apart the invitation.
Damn.
After the interaction is over, Zali will just kind of take a deep breath, let out a sigh, and then head back to find the rest of the party.
Which the rest of the party has, by this point, made their way to the palace. And one option for Zali would be to potentially go to the public transit to take a ride over to the area by the palace to get there more reliably at the very least.
Yeah. He's done enough walking for one day.
Okay. By the time Zali arrives, the party The party will be nearby, as the doors to the feasting hall haven't quite yet opened. Right, they'll just be in the main hall right now. So not in the banquet hall, but they will be in the main hall, since their invitations with the royal seal did allow them to pass by the guards. And so when Zali arrives, there will obviously be the guards at the gate.
I mean, sorry, he'll show them his invitation just to get through.
All right. They will. The guard will let Zali through into the main hall where the party is waiting.
He'll head into the main hall and look around for the rest of the party.
You don't have really any difficulty finding them, because obviously they stand out against the crowd. Kava actually seems to have an attire that is quite similar to the other attendees, but the party on the whole, not being wolves, does stand out.
He'll walk up and greet them.
I take it that since Cash is not with you, he decided not to join us.
I couldn't tell you. I just know he's with his family now. Doesn't seem like he wanted to be disturbed. I just passed along the invitation.
So be it.
Well, he always was a party pooper. Perhaps it's best that he's not here.
If I may ask one thing of you, just please don't hold this against him. Just this time.
Oh no, I totally understand why he is not feeling great about this. That being said, he doesn't seem like a party animal, if you will, regardless of the current situation.
Me, on the other hand, I'm ready for
Oh,
a cold drink.
I cannot wait to see Zale cut a rug.
He'll raise an eyebrow at that. Pardon?
It means to dance.
Somehow I don't feel like Solly is the type to quote unquote cut a rug, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
You know, I really should have gotten dance lessons from that Gala person.
Okay. Is there a dance floor? Is there a place to cut rugs?
I mean, it's not really. There isn't really. Technically, the hall that you're in is also often where dances take place, if relevant, but there isn't really any couples dancing going on presently, and nor is there any music in there besides the very basic ambient music that would go on.
What would a dancing role even be?
Performance, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you had acrobatic performance, but never.
Yeah, and that is correct.
In response to what Maria said, Zale will kind of readjust his hat and ask where the alcohol is.
I'm assuming Maria has already got a drink in her hand if she's been partying for a while.
So right now it's just kind of general gathering. There's a table with some basic alcoholic drinks, but nothing nothing fancy, nothing big. That's for the banquet itself. So these are kind of the simpler drinks that are available right now,
So
and
it's like wine and mead.
yeah.
They
Although it's probably worth noting that there are definitely some drinks that Maria hasn't even really tried before, or at the very least, their base ingredients aren't those that she's ever found before, because these ingredients seem to have come with the change back to the arboreal state.
They have a lovely wine made from some fruit I've never heard of at the table over there, if you'd like to give it a try.
Very well. Then I'll show you how we cut rugs from where I come from.
Oh, I cannot wait. And no one can tell if Maria and Zale are flirting with each other or just being weird.
Kava is entirely convinced it's both.
Amazing.
Like, I don't even think Maria and Zale know.
Perhaps not. So, Zale will grab a drink. He will respectfully down it all.
Fortitude save.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
You actually hold your liquor pretty well.
He'll then readjust his garment, head back to where the general dancing is, and he will start dancing.
I'm excited.
Okay. Well, you certainly cut rug. In fact, you dance so well. Are you dancing with Maria or dancing solo?
Maria is definitely going to join him.
Oh God.
And I'm definitely going to re-roll using a hero point.
Oh my god.
Okay.
There we go. It's a little better.
I was gonna say, maybe if Zale notices like Maria stumbling, he would kind of like offer her his hand and like try and guide her along, but it seems like she's doing fine now.
Yeah, so Maria manages to keep up, but it's definitely clear between the two who's really leading this dance, as Zali puts on one hell of a performance in the main hall, enough so that the crowd around is actually begun slowly to turn to watch this dance over their otherwise idle chatter.
Spicy.
Oh, he's definitely like spinning Maria around and like twirling her out, pulling her back in, and she's just like barely able to keep up.
He just cackling under his breath and clapping his little paws.
You know, Zale, I didn't think you had it in you.
You wanted to see a performance, didn't you?
Indeed. I will say I am quite impressed.
Around the time that Zali has, unless you have more dialogue.
Nope, just around the time he finishes, he'll like kind of pull Maria into like a final pose and just whisper to her, "That's what our rugs look like."
And as they do,
Rug I can
oh, okay, go on, do your line first.
Maria leans into his ear. I have a rug I can show you later.
So as they go into that pose, the King of the Wolves himself steps forward and it says with a bit of a chuckle, well, I knew you were quite the heroes, but apparently you were quite the dancers as well. I'm certainly glad I invited you.
Maria stops to catch her breath. Well, thank you. Readjusting her poncho. Thank you for inviting us. It has been quite the party already, and it's barely started.
Well, of course.
Offering a bow, Zali will say, "Well, I pride myself on being a student of many arts."
Certainly. With all that said, though, let's get this banquet underway.
Oh, Maria definitely has the hots for Zale now.
Seeker whispers to Kava.
I think we should leave them alone for the rest of the evening.
Hey, I mean, I wasn't gonna sleep with them.
Lol.
Well, unless they ask.
Eyebrow raised. Anyway,
That is what Kava said back to Seeker.
Oh my god. Cutscene.
So, with that, all of the attendees wait before the king has made his way back into the banquet hall, as the doors are now open and the guests begin filing in. Most of the seats are generally unlabeled. However, if the party attempts to sit at any of the unlabeled seats, they will be promptly guided by one of the wait staff on hand towards a set of seats that actually is labeled for each member of the party.
Maria lets them guide her. Why, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, give me one moment. This is the part where I have to refresh myself just a little bit.
I did not know Zale could be so smooth, by the way. That was great.
Right? I mean, helps to
Well-
roll a 13 with a plus 17 modifier.
I'm gonna say, I don't know. I don't know if I can maintain this level of smoothness going forward, but
It's fine. You don't need to. Maria is already hooked.
well, you know, they got to get to second base.
So, as everyone takes their seats, the king will begin with a general addressal of everyone at the banquet, thanking them for coming, and he will first begin by talking about general matters of the kingdom, which, by his estimations, he has noted that, at the very least, the past day has been reportedly far more productive than anything that they had seen in the past few years. They can't quite understand why that had been, but are hoping that this trend continues. And finally, after going over a bunch of, well, general kingdom legalese stuff, then says, and with all of that, to the main recognition, I have honored guests here today. For many of you that sit here today recently found themselves pulled into a horrible and twisted world, into a city called Carcosa. While everything that caused this horrific event to occur still remains a bit unsolved, what we do know for certain is that these brave heroes were responsible for bringing everyone back safe and sound. And for that, tonight we feast. And
Maria
then
stands
they
up
will...
Wow.
And he will hold up his goblets and offer a cheer to the party.
Maria stands up and takes a bow.
Zali will actually stand up and match that bow.
Seeker stands up on his chair so that he's actually visible and does the same.
In that case, as Kava, or seeing the other three doing that, Kava will stand up and then grab Seeker to hold him up a little higher for his bow, as they themselves bow.
How does this work?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Asking
Seeker
no
stands
questions,
on
be told
Kava's
no lies.
shoulder and bows, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, that still doesn't work, because you... Whatever, it's fine.
Listen, Kava has big dragon wings and you can just stand on top of one of them totally. You're used to pipes, why not stand on a wing? Anyways.
I don't think those are equivalent, but anyway.
No, but okay, if you want an actual thing, Kava will like pick you up briefly and then suspend you on their tail because it is completely prehensile, so.
Seeker balances and bows. I was just like, wait, because if I'm standing on your shoulder and you bow, I'm gonna fall.
With the cheer and the toast, the king initiates the feasting itself, and with that everyone begins getting involved in their conversations, at which point the king will finally ask, I do see, though, that you seem to be short a member, and I must admit I'm quite disappointed to see that the one that represents someone from this very kingdom is the one that's missing.
Maria looks solemnly. Oh, yes.
As I
Well,
mean.
in the process of dealing with the King in Yellow, Cash lost something of himself, I'll say. And he is coming to terms with that.
I see. Well, if you ever see him again, there certainly is a Medal of Honor awaiting him. And on that note, the butler will then walk up to the party, offering each of them medals. So long as you shall not... So long as you shall not profane this kingdom, these medals shall be a symbol that you are always welcome here.
Zale will accept his, and if he can, he'll like pin it to his vest.
Seeker also accepts and stands up in their seat again and does a bow to the king.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Maria also bows. Thank you.
Certainly. And there is one other thing I'd like to discuss. Well, a few things, really. And I hate to trouble you, but you are registered with the Adventurers Guild last I checked. So, I would like to extend some rumors, some things that I can say for sure. One is something of a personal request, really.
Oh, do tell.
We're at your service, Your Majesty.
One second, sorry. Well, word comes from the swamps that there is a rogue kitsune that keeps setting fire to everything there. And I know that you previously were also traveling with a druid from there, so I imagine there might be some interest on your end in investigating that and potentially trying to put a stop to it. As well, but as well, those fires aren't just affecting the Swamp Kingdom. Rumor has it this kitsune is trying to awaken an ancient creature, and that ancient creature seems to be something of interest to the Otter Kingdom. So there is a warrant out from the Otter Kingdom for their capture.
Well, we are already dealing with 2 apocalypses. Why not add a 3rd?
Well, I wouldn't say we're quite at the apocalypse point yet, but the Outer Kingdom would like them at the very least brought in for questioning. So, ideally, captured alive.
Well, we do have business in the Otter Kingdom, so we might as well make a stop on the way.
And then the other thing, this is a bit of a personal one for myself, but a dear friend of mine, Nicola, has, well, seemingly disappeared to the Dragonborn Kingdom after being the one who had requested the show that you were investigating at the theater. And I am very concerned about his well-being. So I would appreciate if you could look into his whereabouts and see what's going on.
One second, I'm writing that one down.
Don't worry too much about writing them down. They'll be in a poll afterwards.
Alright.
Deletes notepad.
So, of either of those, take your pick, although obviously I would be very pleased if you were to go after Nicola first.
Well, a direct request from royalty is hard to, say no to.
And the king seems to smile a little bit and says, I'm glad to see that you're an agreeable bunch. Now, with that said, once all of these celebrations are done with, there is certainly a reward that will be awaiting you. My butler here will see to it that you receive them after the banquet is finished. I'd rather not have them delivered to you during the banquet, as I don't want anyone who might be a little loose with people's pockets getting to your reward. But that's about all I have to say to you. So, enjoy the feast.
Thank you again, Your Grace, Maria curtsies.
Thank you greatly.
As the party begins to dig in, suddenly another one of the wolves nearby, seems to call for the party's attention. Although they don't seem to be good with the party's names. But they are, so you hear them saying something like, hey, adventurers.
Maria perks her head up.
Once the... Oh, go ahead.
How can I help you?
Well, I am aware that you are the ones that were traveling with Cash, yes?
Indeed.
I was hoping to see him in person, and admittedly, I'd still prefer to see him in person. But I can at the very least pass something along to you if you catch him before I do.
Very well. What can we pass along to him?
Well, I have an Employee of the Month award for him.
Maria chuckles a little. I will let him know that. He wasn't feeling very well after our battle. No serious injuries, but
I
he
did...
decided to.
Oh, go ahead.
He decided to go see his family instead of going to the banquet.
Mostly physical injuries anyway, more of a mental sort.
So it sounds like I saw his family just before he did. That's unfortunate. Well, at the very least, I am his boss, of course. Nice to meet you lot. I hope he's been treating you well.
As well as one could.
It's been an interesting time traveling together, and it's nice to meet you as well.
Well, anyways, that's about all I wanted to inquire about. So, if you happen to see him before I do, see if you can send him my way.
You can do that.
Much
We'll do
appreciated.
that.
And with that, the boss will go back to eating.
What kind of music was happening earlier during the dance scene?
Admittedly, okay, so, actually thinking real quick.
Total
Fuck.
segue. That was just.
Oh, I know. Like it would be an ambience, but I just remembered that every kingdom has a different favored genre of music, and I don't remember the Wolf Kingdoms.
It explodes my brain trying to recall it.
I honestly don't remember either.
Like, part of me is leaning towards thinking it was probably rock and roll, but fuck.
Oh, definitely metal music.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It was.
It was metal music?
Which is funny now. They could definitely do like folk metal now.
Oh no.
Yes,
It would
now
still
it's country.
no, their musical preferences are actually still exactly the same. So they've got shit like "Welcome to the Jungle." Anyways.
Oh my god. Okay, but the image of Maria and Zali doing like a waltz to rock music is kind of sick as hell.
Right?
We just roll like
rock,
that.
rock classical.
Yeah, rock classical.
No, it's power metal. That's what it is. That's why you can dance to it. Because it's got the church organs in the background. It sounds
one
all
might
fancy,
even
all
say
orchestral.
Power Wolf.
Oh
Right? Actually, you know what, by the way, I know I haven't asked the Florence, but fuck it, I'm going to canonize this. Since it is the Wolf Kingdom is now arboreal, one other change that has happened is there is a new headliner band called, oh shit, one sec. I want to make, like, I'm thinking Guns N' Roses, but I got to change it up a little bit. Give me a hot minute.
Leave us hanging.
Guns and Jethro's. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Or do.
Oh,
I was thinking,
absolutely.
like operatic metal, like Nightwish or Epica or something.
Because I was just
Also-
like, I don't know what kind of dance is going on, but depending on the kind of music, Seeker would either be joining in or not.
Okay, so hilariously, I am going to have this new band that has come out called Ferns and Roses.
Ferns and Roses.
And yeah, so that is one thing that has changed. There's just the and no one in the party actually knows if they existed before the change. They could have, but for some reason in this version of the Wolf Kingdom, they have exploded in popularity.
Their lead singer's name is Fern instead of Rose.
Yes, perfect.
That's how Guns N' Roses got their name, Axl Rose.
Fair enough, yeah. So yeah, the lead singer's name is Axel Fern. And it's actually the drummer who has the last name, or no. Oh shit, no, I'm going to make this even funnier. The lead singer is Axel Fern, but all of the other band members are actually like brothers and sisters, and all of them have the last name Rose, and that's why it's Fern and Roses.
Fern and Roses.
I just love the idea of this giant werewolf dressed like Slash.
Yeah? Alright, so we're about to wrap up session. Does the party have anything more that they would like to discuss with one another?
I am extremely curious as to what Zali was going to say earlier about the trees and what Secret described with the structures.
Okay. Well, yeah, Secret can ask.
This whole time.
Unfortunately, Zali's in a good enough of a mood that he's not going to talk about the very depressing thing he thought while the Seeker was talking about their past.
Fuck everything.
Get
Listen,
fucked.
I'll remember it for next time if it comes up. You could ask him then, or you could ask now if you want.
After they're burrowed into a couple drinks, Secret just kind of drunkenly slurs over it, I guess.
Yep, there you go.
Wait, you were gonna say something earlier. What was it? Just that.
You're giving me a weird look
Spectacular.
when I was talking.
I don't know what the fuck Secret would sound like drunk. I don't think I've gotten Secret drunk yet.
You were giving me a look earlier when I was talking about the really tall this way earlier.
Sound like I'm drunk now.
Oh, that. I was just reminiscing. It seemed like you've gone through a lot. That's all. By the
Oh.
way. Sorry, one moment.
Okay.
Oh, fair.
Oh.
Of course, Seeker gets the fun one. If you're drunk, you got a minus to perception. Good luck.
Oh, fuck everything. What am I rolling?
That's
can
just
roll it-
against your perception DC, so it's 10 plus your perception minus whatever.
Oh. Oh, shit, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Divided for second edition.
Okay,
Well, fuck
yep.
it, I'd fail it anyway, because that would only be a 25 at highest.
Fucking rip.
Damn, so I don't get to know. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like that deception was high enough for the entire party.
Maybe Zale will be more sad and then he'll tell you the truth, but for now, he just wants to live in the moment, you know?
Fair enough, but I'm totally gonna forget about it later.
It's okay.
Write it down.
No, we want me to forget.
Okay, I hope you do. Because I have the memory of a worm.
Alright.
Don't worry, I will remember.
Okay.
I might even
And
include
most-
it in the... Never mind.
What were you going to say?
Maria spends most of the party flirting with random people, but returning to Zale, trying to get a read off of him.
Nice.
Okay.
You know,
Go ahead.
I was never the fisher, but I seem to have caught your eye.
Indeed, you did. What can I say? I find dancing rather attractive.
Oh?
Indeed. Perhaps we could have a glass of wine together alone sometime.
I think that would be cute. Just as cute as you following along. You're very good. You're a very good student.
Remind me to teach you some things sometime.
Oh, I'll show you how good of a student I can be as well.
Damn.
We're like borderline Twitch TOS.
Get around.
We'll teach each other a few new things.
Well, yeah, they'll get guest rooms at the palace for after the banquet.
They're definitely gonna need to clean those sheets.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you guys all for coming. I will. So just as a quick thing, you all will be receiving gold. Cash's gold will be sent to his home. And as well, the entire party is now level 8.
Woohoo. Also, just imagine opening your mail and there's a bag of gold.
Right?
I feel like there would be a little bit more pomp and circumstance receiving a payment from the king. Like, they'd have a messenger show up and, like, make sure they hand it directly to Cash.
They bring, like, the small-time orchestra as well. They just start tuning
God.
as they approach your house.
Anyways, yeah, and there will also be a pull-up for those adventure paths. So, yeah, thank you all for coming, and hasta la vista.
Yeah,
Hasta la vista.
adios.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.